You, Mr. Popli, for a very comprehensive introduction to the subject. And I also join all of you in welcoming our eminent speakers and also welcoming other participants because all the programs that we do non-virtual are widely attended and participants take interest in not only listening to the presentations and discussions, but also participate giving their own views. Only yesterday, we had a very lively set of presentations on carbon capture, utilization, and storage. Now, all these subjects, any subject that we are discussing last few years particularly, they have all been on the agenda of the whole world and particularly of India. But in last few years, they have assumed much larger proportion, particularly with the coming up of solar energy in a big way. Our awareness and our affection and our priority for the renewables to come into the stream in our overall energy management. Biomass, biogas, the whole range of resources. Of course, solar was always there from 1960. The only thing is that all these remained in the background in the total equation of energy. Their contribution continued to be marginal. Of course, we have Mr. Grover also today attending from the nuclear, he's an expert on nuclear energy. And there also have been concerned that nuclear energy is such an important source of energy, carbon free, and yet it remained in the margin. And we are trying to give much more priority and importance in the whole issue of not only discussion, but planning process for energy management in the future. Now, the challenge for India particularly, and in the context of what we are going to discuss today, is that India will continue to require more and more energy into the system, more and more energy supply into the system, notwithstanding the fact that we have massive programs, very important programs on energy efficiency, lesser consumption, better output. Notwithstanding that, in spite of the fact that we succeed, and we have succeeded over the last 20 years in bringing down our energy consumption for similar output in various industries and other consumption sectors. Notwithstanding that, we will continue to need more energy to come into the economic development of the country, much more than what we have. If we had 4 times of what we have, that would have been good. If we had 4 to 5 times of what we have, we would have been at par with China. So we are 1/4 or 1/5 of China in terms of per capita consumption of everything, of energy in general and power in particular. So therefore, one challenge is to, with all efforts on energy efficiency and demand side management, the challenge is that we have also to enhance the energy consumption. Second and bigger challenge is that we are too much dependent also on our liquid fuel and gaseous fuel. And that dependence is a very challenging dependence in the sense that almost 85-86% of what we consume on the petroleum side, we have to import. And more than 50% of what we consume on the gas side, again, we have to import. So therefore, the challenge is how do we reduce our massive dependence on import. So on the one hand, we have to increase the energy consumption. On the other hand, we have to do our supply side management besides the demand side management in a manner that we also substitute a major part of import, because energy security has assumed greater dimension in whole discussions of energy management today, not only in India, but all over the world. Too much of dependence on import is a factor that one has to address very carefully. And therefore, the demand on energy now would be not only from the power point of view, and we cannot see biogas or biomass in the form or in a manner that we expect electricity, only electricity for that. And we have never expected. But in the context of what I am just now saying, that if we have to substitute the transport system energy supply with some alternative, there again, the relevance of biomass, biogas, and other forms of energy assumes greater. And that is too big. Almost 27, 28% of our energy is from the liquid fuel and the gaseous fuel. So that is another dimension. As I said in the beginning, that this is a subject, it is not that it is not known, at least last 40, 50 years, all of us in our age group, we have been discussing this, but it has to rise in the level of changing the orbit. And this is the time that it should rise in the level and change the orbit to make significant contribution in this. There are regulatory issues, there are issues of economics, there is also issue of technology. We have to also see over last 30, 40, 50 years that we have discussed about relevance of biogas, biomass, and other similar forms of energy supply system as they are important, but have we made significant change in technology? If not, what is it that we need to do so that it is globally as well as in India? After all, solar power was known for decades. But then real transformation or real feeling of solar can become a large factor in the equation of energy has come only in the last 7, 8, 10 years. So technology development to the point of proving the technology is one thing. Technology development to the point of commercializing is another thing. And technology development to the point of making it affordable. It's not that it should become cheap, but affordable so that it gets into the system is yet another challenge. So I would feel a change of mindset, a change of regulatory and policy sympathy or consideration, positive view on the subject is another thing. And most important thing is, how do we further transform this? Scale, yesterday also I was saying, so far as the scale of demand is concerned, India is a good field for providing the scale. When we were changing from conventional lighting system to CFL and then to LED, it is the scale which helped. All these things were known for decades, but it is the scale which made a difference. The scale of demand which made the difference in bringing down the price, and side by side, of course, research and technology development. So I think these are the issues which we will be listening and understanding and getting ourselves educated more on the subject from the experts who we have invited today to speak. But issue would be, if we are always depending on government subsidy, it doesn't work. It did not work on solar. Nowhere it worked on solar. It didn't work on solar in USA from 60s. It didn't work in India for years together. Wind came in India. I mean, it didn't depend too much on subsidy. We only have to provide a financial structuring of depreciation benefit, etc., but not on any significant amount of subsidy. So therefore, if we only want to depend on subsidy and forever, then I don't think that has a space for moving. So therefore, technology development, its articulation with the people, convincing the people, and of course, the industry will be convinced if they find some substitute has come. This is a fuel source, this is an energy source which can fit in anywhere, which can fit in transport, which can fit in agriculture, which can fit in power system, which can fit in factories. Part of the factory energy could be substituted or supplemented by this form of energy. So it has a space anywhere where energy demand or energy need is available. Only thing is, how do we scale it up and how do we get to a point that, not that we don't get any support from the government, but we depend minimum insofar as the subsidy is concerned. With these few words, I might come back again at 4 I have to go. So if I am not there, Publiji, then you can coordinate the last part of the discussion. But then I will like to listen to others and to the eminent speakers whom we have called today and invited them to share their thoughts and their experiences of the subject. Thanks a lot.